So I got a question for you, Iggy. Now you bring up what's going to happen to Brandon Ayuk. Where do the 49ers go from here? What are their prospects? Are they a Super Bowl winner next season?
What's interesting, I went and looked it up online. I was curious. What do the sports books think? And they have the Niners as the favorite next year to win the Super Bowl, which is incredible. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that people think the Niners should have beaten the Chiefs and there was some bad luck and they're going to prove it next year? At what point do people realize that the Niners aren't the best team in the NFL? Like, what do they have to do? How many times do the Chiefs have to win the Super? Anyway, not about the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl next year. I think they've been a resilient team. They've had some crushing losses, but this one is way more painful. And I think it shakes their confidence to their core. They've always been able to say, we lost, but it's Jaquiski Tartt's fault or it's Tyler Kroft's fault. But we have a great coach and we have a great team. And if we just keep working, we will win. And now I think they're questioning the coach. Like, yeah, we have the players. This was the best team we've ever had. And if we couldn't win it with this, like maybe that guy is the problem. Maybe everything that people have said about that guy is true. And if that's the case, I'm really curious to see what this team's going to be like next year.
Right. It could fade the way the Eagles faded. Did you hear what I said?
Absolutely. Because it seemed like the Eagles started to look at Nick Sirianni and like, oh, you're a fraud. Yeah, Nick Sirianni, same thing. Like I know Kyle calls plays and Sirianni doesn't, but there's a certain attitude that Sirianni had that the Eagles may have fed off of, like an arrogance, a smugness, puffing his chest out, acting like a tough guy. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a second. You're the Wizard of Oz. You're the man behind the curtain. You're not scary at all. In fact, you're making us look bad. He lost that team. Is Kyle on the verge of that? I don't know. He's a much better coach than Nick Sirianni, but he has some of that smugness and arrogance. And when you keep blowing it in the Super Bowl, I think people start to look at you as like, what? How have you earned that? How is that arrogance helping you? Us.
And Iggy, he couldn't keep the team together post-loss. They went after each other like piranha, and that's really not allowed. It's not allowed.
Right.
There has to be a core of self-belief and of brotherhood that immediately broke down. Everybody pointing, not everybody, some people pointing fingers at some other people. And then the extreme emotion was, it was a very tough loss, but also it may have been more than a loss of a game. It may have been a loss of who we are.
Yeah, absolutely. The loss of that, because this Niners team always had that feeling like it doesn't really matter what the final result is. We're the best team. We're the best.
Yeah.
And now, like, they've lost to the Chiefs twice. They've really proven that they're not the best team, and they're all getting older. They have to face the fact that might have been their last opportunity. It may not be Kyle's last opportunity in a Super Bowl. He coached for another 20, 25 years. But George Kittle, can he really look in the mirror and say, I'll be back? Maybe not. And it sucks to think that in his potentially last opportunity to be a champion, Kyle gave him 2 catches.
Yeah.
2.
But Iggy, I'd like to say something else. Hold on. You said they have to admit that Kansas City. You said that they had to admit that Kansas City is the best. I'm going to look at it another way. I think the 49ers are the best. I think they're a better team than Kansas City. And I think what is really hurting them today is we're the best team and we still couldn't win.
Yeah. So it's like even when we have the best team, we're not going to be champions. Why?
Right. That's why. Right. That's the issue. Is not that Kansas City's better,
and that's
we're better,
right?
And
we could literally have the best team. We did. That's suppressing. We have the best team. We're more talented than them. We have the offensive player of the year. We lost.
Yeah.
Well, then I don't know what to do.
And
then I don't know what to
do.
I don't know what to do.
That
we trusted.
That's
Kyle,
where they're at today.
We did the work. We had the team. I don't know what to do. That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle had the answers.